Hello，大家好，欢迎大家回来，福尔摩斯。我们今天继续那个半月街的凶杀案，然后再跟他讲一下，因为发现跟他证词不太一样，他偷东西了。
Mr. Turner, how would it be possible for a man of advanced years, such as yourself, to rush from his bed to the window in a matter of seconds, as you have stated?
Well, I'm able to move very quickly, despite my age, and when the situation requires it, Mr. Holmes.
拐杖啊！
I highly doubt that, Mr. Turner. I observe that you suffer a severe limp due to your injured right leg. It would have taken at least 10 seconds for you to approach the window. That means you could have easily missed something or someone in Half Moon Street during that time.
You're right, Mr. Holmes. I could have missed something. But it did seem to me that everything happened so quickly. Oh, time can pull tricks on you.
And what of everything else that you told us? Mr. Turner, it is vital that we have your complete and true statement.
Mr. Holmes, I do assure you that the other things I said were most sincere.
手镯嘞？
Mr. Turner, you were not sincere with me. Not then and not now.
But Mr. Holmes...
This, Mr. Turner, does not look like anything that a poor man might possess. It is worth more than the home that you live in.
I can explain.
No, merely correct me if I am wrong. You saw Leighton Chapman through the window, but you also noticed a glittering object on the ground, this precious jewel. You walked down and took the bracelet from the body of Kenneth Butler, and when you heard the whistles, you hurried away. That broke your walking stick. It caught fast between the cobbles. Constable Marrow was unable to see you in the window, as you were climbing up the stairs on your way back to your flat. Upon returning home, you hid the precious jewel inside a book.
Mr. Holmes, please don't send me to prison. I didn't do anything bad. I'm just a poor man. When I chanced upon the bracelet, I saw it as an opportunity to make a little money. I was desperate. I only took the bracelet, that's all, I swear.
You made a mistake by lying to me. But you are not a criminal. I believe that. Although I must return this bracelet to its rightful owner.
就是我这个案子的那个叫什么？战利品了吧？
It would be my pleasure to assist you with your investigation, Mr. Holmes.
我现在应该这边都勘察完了吧？
I suppose that I shall have to move my...
这边还没有东西。调查那个手镯，那就先回去看看那个档案。
My analysis table.
不是这个。
It is useful for my work.
羊头的标记，历史。
That is not the one I need. That is not the one I... That is not the one I...
啊，还不是啊，那就是调查资料吗？
That is not the one. That is not the one I need.
用报纸吧，印羊头的标记。这个。
That is not the one. That is not the one I need. That is not the one I need.
这个
That is not the one I need. That is not the one I need. That is not the one.
他一直猜，应该是这边吧？哎，这个哎，1885年失窃。
Here it is.
好，
I need to continue my research in my archives.
1885年好，就这个啊。巴特勒宣称有人向他出售福来桃之112。
Here it is. One of the victims, Kenneth Butler, was involved in the story of the stolen Hellenistic treasures. A visit to his pawn shop should tell me more.
那我先去警局好了，询问一下，哪一个？
Mr. Holmes, whatever brings you here so late at night?
I'm interested in the case of young Leighton Chapman. He was arrested earlier this evening and accused of a double murder.
I beg your pardon? That case is quite clear to the police. Or are there any new facts that we don't know about?
Who knows, Inspector?
Look, you are free to investigate, of course, Mr. Holmes. Chapman was arrested with a revolver in his possession, which you can find in the evidence room. The suspect himself is in custody.
Did you find anything else on his person?
A few personal belongings. Nothing particular, Mr. Holmes.
Thank you, Lestrade.
去看看证物。手枪。
So this is the gun that Leighton was holding when he was caught by the police. It is a Webley revolver, a reliable weapon. It seems as though the shells were not removed from the cylinder. Two out of the 6 shells have been fired. There were 2 shots. A cheap watch, bought with his own money, no doubt. 2 out of the 6 shells. These cigarettes are filled with cheap tobacco. Nothing interesting.
这边是什么？哎，这个有可能。还有线索吗？有诶，2位受害人没有抢劫。哈哈，都是猜啊。诶，是被同一个人杀害的，不一定。这个再看看。 先问看他为什么会有那把左轮。
Please escort this suspect for interrogation. Good evening, Mr. Chapman.
Who are you? I've got nothing to say. It's all a mistake.
Calm down, Leighton. I have come here to help you. To find out if you truly are innocent, as your younger brother Wiggins has told me.
My brother? You know him? Then that means you're...
Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, blimey. All right, Mr. Holmes. I'll tell you everything.
先侧写。为什么有疤痕呢？眼睛。最近被殴打拒捕，暴躁，一定是暴躁啊！刚刚看他。他办公室职员了。哎呦，这个，所以他认识他当然是那个受害人。
Good. Tell me your account of what happened.
I left my work, and I hurried up to see the fireworks in Whitechapel. I was late, so I decided to cut through Half Moon Street. I saw the first fireworks light up in the sky. I bumped into a constable on a corner before entering Half Moon. Then suddenly, what with all the firework flare, I saw two men. They were both lying flat in the middle of the street. I stopped where I was. I thought about turning back to the police, but as I was thinking of that, I saw a third person. He was leaning over the body that was furthest from me. The second I saw him, he raised his head and he stared at me. In a flash, I saw his gun, but he made a dash for it instead and he escaped through Whitechapel Street.
So you might still have had time to return to the constable.
I panicked. I didn't know what to do. Anyway, I approached the bodies just to see if they were still alive. I saw that one had blood pumping out of his stomach. He was dying. It was horrible. The second one was already dead. He had a hole in his head. He was holding a gun in his hand though. I took it, and then I followed the third man.
所以真的2把枪。
Interesting. Pray, continue.
I turned a corner, and I saw the man standing in the middle of the street. He seemed to be in some sort of panic. And then, Mr. Holmes, something strange happened. I told the police and they laughed at what I said, but I swear to you, my words are true. I started running towards him. But then I was blinded by a flash. It was so bright that I hardly saw anything for a good dozen seconds. But I kept running forward. As I arrived in Whitechapel, I heard a woman screaming. And then I was caught by the police. But there wasn't a trace of that man. Of course, then they found a gun and all that blood. I couldn't see the murderer escaping and all that mess. Perhaps I was still half-blinded at that moment.
A thrilling account, my young man. Leighton, are you able to describe the person whom you saw standing in Half Moon Street?
Well, I wasn't able to see his face at all. It was too dark, and he was too far away. I could see his silhouette.
And what about that?
Nothing so special. He was wearing a jacket. He was quite average in size and his weight.
I see. Was there anything else that struck you at the time?
No. But perhaps it's strange, but I can't remember the sound of his footsteps as he was running away. Perhaps it was because of the fireworks or the surprise of me seeing him.
Leighton, I confess I am puzzled. Why should a young lad like you take a gun from the hands of a dead man and set off in pursuit of a probable killer?
I know. I keep wondering that, but at the time it was like a reflex. A criminal ought to be arrested, and he was armed.
You were willing to risk your life. That was a little foolish, unless you wanted revenge.
No, Mr. Holmes. I was just being brave and stupid.
那个囚犯。
I'm sure that you were, but I believe that you may have recognized one of the victims, Brian Vercotti. You knew that gentleman well, did you not?
However could you know that?
You have a typical tattoo of the Westgate Brotherhood upon your hand. I observed exactly the same mark upon Mr. Vercotti. You came to know him from your sharing a past prison sentence. Am I correct, Mr. Chapman?
God. You're right, Mr. Holmes.
Would you tell me a little about Brian Vercotti?
We were convicted for a robbery. Once in prison, both of us joined one of these fraternities. During that year, we tried to help each other out, you know?
Now, you were quite young then, I believe.
Yes, Mr. Holmes, we were. We'd only stolen a pound of meat. After we were released and when I saw what my little brother had become, I decided to work towards living an honest life.
And Vicotti?
He had a hard time. His sister had died in a Whitechapel dispensary while he was in prison. He had no family anymore. Our paths split. He fell back into crime.
So you lost him?
Yes. And for around 2 years, I heard no news of him at all.
We shall see you soon, young man.
好，我们这边看看。他的左轮，他的陈述，他的手枪。这不可能啊！所以这是真的。哎，他的陈述，这个是什么？这个不会啦，我相信他。好了，就完成。我现在要干嘛？调查那个，再调查一下尸体。还可以去当铺，先去当铺好了。当铺在哪里啊？这是有肉了吧？不对，Butler 是他的名字。
Mr. Butler's key matches the lock perfectly.
因为他是死掉的一个人，我想说Butler这个名字怎么那么熟悉
Crampons and a sharp ice axe would only be brought here by a mountaineer. A flare pistol. Perhaps it was pawned by a destitute sailor. It looks as though Mr. Butler kept a careful record of his operations. It looks...
哟，这是新收的哦。
The ram's heads. This necklace belongs to the 5 rams of Mittelin collection. Interesting. That means that Kenneth Butler owned a part of this collection all this time, 10 years after the theft.
找到买主，可以安排你们见面。珠宝。 这里有了，这里有新的。那这个看着就有可能吧，也是同时开枪是有可能的。再回去，好了，我们今天先到这边结束，下次我们再去半月街那边解决一下。下次再见喽，拜拜。